Now I'm going to paint the surface of this tree stem. This one is still wet, it's not ready to be painted. But this one I did yesterday and it's ready. And so I'm going to start to put the actual finished color on here. I'm not going to finish this at this particular time, but I'm going to start to put the finished color on here to show how this works. I'm using Golden's matte medium. I'm going to put some pigment into the medium. The shady side of the tree, which is this side, is going to need a deep taupe color. And a taupe is, as you know, it's neither tan nor gray, but it's both. And nobody that I know of makes a taupe pigment. So I'll be making my own here. And for the deep part, I'm using Joe's raw umber and Golden's number 2 natural gray. I do use all of the values of gray in my work, so I usually keep. Now, in order to make a taupe, I have to blend these two tones together. And I will keep re-blending as I go up the tree and get it just so to suit myself. The tree, the deep parts in the cracks need to be dark. They need to be, so they'll show up, they need to be dark. So I'm going to paint most of the tree this deep color. Then after that starts to set up, I'll go back and I'll put the light on the light side of the tree trunk. And for this, I'm going to use this. This is another one of Joe's new brushes. I always wet the brush so that there's paint in the top of it. That makes it easy to clean because it's really hard to get the paint out of the brush up near the ferrule. So here we go. I'm going to paint this deep taupe color in there. I have to work it into all those cracks. So it's a process. It's not exactly like painting a wall. Now I think that's at least so far, it looks like I've got the tone pretty good, so I'll go ahead and make up some more of that because I've about used it up already. I've used up what I've made up. It's rare that I use the pigmented colors just as they come from the container. I almost always have to mix them up, mix them down, mix them with other tones. Now the burnt umber is pretty useful just by itself without mixing it with something else. But then, you know, any color as it comes from the tube or the pot is too flat. So, you know, you have to go back over it and give it some variations of tone. I just flashed back on the fact that I was installing a big a commission piece in a fine home a couple years back, and I was using one of my stainless steel trays, and the client looked at it and he said, "Well, that's a butter dish." And I said, "Well, the main thing is it's stainless steel." And I use stainless steel containers because you know, I can leave it, let it dry, and then I can just scrape the surface off with a palette knife, and practically everything in these woodland pieces has to be matte. Now you get shiny surfaces on rhododendron leaves, and this piece doesn't have any rhododendron leaves in it, but and water, or sometimes on wet surfaces, and there are some different paints that can be used for those effects, but this is definitely a matte situation here. See, those bristles are so long and so nice and strong that they save me a lot of work by getting right into those cracks. Again, now I'm painting the whole thing dark because I have to have the dark tone down in the cracks. And then after this paint will make a surface in a couple of hours that will allow me to go back and put another tone on top of it. And at that point, I will put the light on the top, and that'll take 2 or 3 tones to get that light on there. And it's a different kind of brushing. This brushing is to get the color down into all of the cracks. Now the camera's over there and I'm over here, so I can't really see. I'll probably have to get on that side and do that edge. So the tree stem goes through these phases of looking quite different. First it's just the natural bark, and then it's the natural bark with the gel on it. This gel is drying. It will look more like this one did when we started. Then I put the dark tone on, let that dry. Then I come back and put the light on it. And after a little bit, I'm going to actually start to put some of the, I've already put a few branches on this stem. We'll put on a few branches, and we'll put on some of the hemlock foliage. And that'll be quite different from all this bark painting we're doing. Okay, that's substantially ready. There's nothing left to do there that I can't do as touch-up.